Okay, so let's take a look at how you can create SQL Server Express instance in Google Cloud. Next, we will connect that instance to DBeaver tool. So DBeaver tool is basically the tool for database management. Here we will be connecting to a variety of databases once we download, right? So it looks something like this, right? And we will be connecting it with SQL Server, right? So I will go through that, but before we go there, we can create the instance. So first thing is clicking on all products from your menu. So we click on all products in another tab, and here you will see Google Cloud Console that shows all the list of the products from your Google Cloud platform, and we will be selecting the databases option there. Now let's take a look at one more thing, which is our Cloud SQL option. So if we click on databases, you will find that it has this SQL option. We will click there and it will take us to this instance page. As you can see, I already have one instance running SQL Server 2019 Express. So I'll show you how to create this instance. So basically you click on create instance, then you will be presented with option to choose MySQL, PostgreSQL and SQL Server. Notice the version is pretty old, 2019, 2017. It's way past like 6 years, right? So if we choose SQL Server, we will be getting one of these versions. Reason these are old is because they are long-term support versions. Click on choose SQL Server. Now here we will be presented with option of all the available SQL Server configurations, and there is summary to the right. So we'll be selecting those options and summary will tell you what is final deployment option here, like region, version, etc. So we first start with instance ID. You can type in something like DevSQL, etc. Then you choose the password, then you choose database version. So here you have Express, Web, Standard and Enterprise. Unfortunately, there is no developer edition. So we pick the Express edition, and when you pick that one up, you are kind of limited with some of the things. You will be much better place with development option, reducing your CPU and memory, because for production I don't think Express would suffice, and in that case best option would be to go with Standard or Enterprise. Next comes our region. So region I pick based on where I am located. So I am in Asia, so I will pick, let's say, the closest Asian option. There is also this green icon that shows low emission data centers, so you can pick that if you are closer to that data centers. Once you pick your data center, you can also pick the zone. For test purpose also, single is good enough zone. You need multiple when you have critical data. Specify the zone, primary, secondary, and within your zones. Then finally you will be picking all the configurations in one place. So for example, machine type, I can pick the CPU and memory, right? Then we can pick between lightweight, standard and high memory. Next is I'll be moving to multi-threading option, but that's not supported under SQL Server Express. And comes storage option, where you can see SSD option and storage capacity 10 to custom, so I'll choose 20, right? Next is encryption option, where you can see Google manage encryption and customer manage encryption. So Google manage is a good option to start with. Then comes connections. So here you have private and public IP. So in case of public IP, it will allow you to connect from any place. Next we will pick add network. Here I will type in all, then we will allow every IP by using 0000/0, and then click done. Next, authentication. Currently we have authentication of SQL login only. considering we don't have Active Directory domain. So with SQL login, our username is SQL Server, password the one selected at the top while creating instance ID. Now next is data protection. So let's say you want to take regular backups from certain time period. You will make use of this particular time slots, and you will be able to pick that particular time slot to do your work, right? So at exactly that time the backup will run, and also you based on your region that will be sorted and retained to specific number of days, right? Then there is enable deletion protection. So deletion may happen if you directly go and delete if you uncheck this option, and if you enable this you will have to stop your instance, edit it, then again save, then restart, and then just clicking on delete should work. Next is maintenance, where let's say quarterly or yearly there will be some patches to run, and maintenance window will ensure that you pick a day for maintenance. Usually Monday is the maintenance day for some companies, for some that would be Friday or Saturday, so you pick your days. Then comes order of update, so you pick any later and earlier. Then comes flag and parameters, where you can see the default collection time zone for your option. Then comes your label options, where you can see the label that you choose to sort and use your Cloud SQL instances, right? Another thing is, once you go through all the summary, you don't get to see the price on Google Cloud, unlikely. So you may have to pick the configuration seriously, considering you have to think of the billing part. That will mostly restrict you from going for higher specs. More higher specs means more high bill. So finally click on create instance, and that instance will take 5 to 10 minutes to create. So let me go to my existing instance to show you. So here is the instance ID. I will click, it will take me to dashboard. It will load this CPU utilization, show you how many hours it is running. There is also IP address that I am going to use to connect, right? Now next thing, let's go to connections. Within connection you will find authorized network of IP addresses, and also security option, where you can see allow SSL connection option and option to download certificates. Then comes the networking part, where you can see that you have certain IP address. You will allow the range of IP address from that in this case, right? Now what we will do is we will just open DBeaver, then go to our connections. Here we will choose SQL Server, and I will be pasting IP address here. So let's go to overview. This is the only thing we need from cloud right now, which is IP address. We already have username and password, and if you want you can also use SSL, and I have shown you how to and where to download the CS certificate. Now database, by default we are not choosing anything. Let's go with SQL authentication, where it is SQL Server as username, and password will be, so password is the one we set at the time of connection, right? If you want to enable SSL you can do so. I will just test to see whether it works or not. So it is asking me to download the driver. I will do so, and I made the connection test. It's successful now, so click OK, right, and click finish. So now that successful connection is added. If we expand on that, it will show you databases, and the database MyDB is listed here. It has multiple tables, so DBO tables, people and product catalog. So right click and let's view the data. So view table, it will show you the raw table showing you the columns here. So we'll close that. There is one more thing, we can take a look at its type and who is the primary key, which is our ID. There is data tab here for the data inside that particular table. Also the ER diagram for anyone who have multiple tables, you will have it here, right? So this is one table. There is also another one you can view, and it has 2 entries. Properties, you can take a look at multiple columns and so on. So we managed to establish the connection from Google Cloud for our SQL Server Express to DBeaver database admin tool.